everyone. So today I'm going to share another technique that helps to analyze the relationship and the pattern within the literature if you have already coded the literature in a very different way. Last time we did mention about how to ask some key question as a template to analyze our literature. But this time, if you are using thematic coding, so if you analyze a specific literature or policy document based on some key themes, then this workshop will be really useful for you to find the pattern that how different codes in the literature and in the policy document have their own pattern or have an internal relationship with each other. So here I'm going to share my screen to show you how to do metrics query in our literature after doing thematic coding. Here is the screen. Okay. So for example, we use the same files. If you have all the literature, you can put them in here in the file. And for example, when we read the literature, we might get started to code the literature. Like, for example, I think, this sentence is referring a specific theme like work-life balance as an example. Then you just code it. So after you've read so many literature that you think that's useful for you and code them based on the theme that you care in your research. So we will have the note here. For example, in my case, I come up several themes and I code this document, use thematic coding, have like work-life balance, maternity welfare, housework, gender inequality, equality, discrimination in workplace. And also I divide them into several age cohort. Different study, they might focus on different group of women. Some could be young women, young men, or some study could focus on older generation. So in your case, if you are interested in about some specific topic that is related to different age cohort, then you could have this theme called age cohort. But if you are interested in different kind of ethnicity, so then you can divide them into different category under the ethnicity theme. And also obviously we can have like the category for female and male, or the generations born in 1990 or the generation born in 2000. So it depends on what you are interested in, how the key theme vary between different groups. Also, you could divide the different research they are focusing on working class, or some research they focus on middle class, or some research focus on general public, and some research focus on decision, the policymaker, policy implementer. So they are all the different kind of category, might have like special pattern or relationship between these different groups of people, different group of target group, and some key theme that you are care about or you are interested in. For example, in this case, I'm going to show you how to do metric inquiry. My example will be use how age cohort, different women in different age cohort. It's related to discrimination in workplace. So I would like to know that is it specific group research, they have different discrimination in the workplace, in the literature that has been discussed. It also applies to some other qualitative data, for example, your interview data. If your data are spread across different age cohort or different ethnicity and different generations, so you could also put this category in and code them based on their theme that emerging in the data. So here we go. We will go to after you finish the thematic coding, then we go to the queries. Here, we want to do a query to ask the system, okay, is it different age cohort have different situation of discrimination in workplace? how the women in different age cohort might have different pattern, or is there any specific relationship between age and discrimination in workplace? But here we are not doing causal inference, not saying that older or younger group have more or less, but we just want to see the pattern and the relationship. Here we say new inquiry. Here we are going to try the metric coding. After click that, you will see this page. And for example, if there's several documents, several literature in your project, you can select only, for example, I am only interested in this 3 top journal, this 3 top literature. Then I can just run the query in this document. But here, I think I'm interested in all, so I will do all the files. So I don't need to select any files that I don't want because I want all the files. And the next step, we go to this add item. We select item. We click the not. We will see we have a folder called thematic coding. And okay, in this case, we are wondering the pattern and the relationship between discrimination in workplace and age cohort. So for the row, I click discrimination in the workplace. Click OK. Yeah, for the column, I want to see the age cohort. So the same step, I open the thematic coding, and then I go to the age cohort because I have different category for age cohort, age 18 to 25 and 46 to 55. So I'm interested in all age cohort. I click OK. And then that is the setting of this query that I'm interested in. In this case, I'm asking, okay, within the literature that I have coded, any relationship within discrimination in workplace and age cohort, which means that I coded, for example, the same sentence. I code discrimination in workplace, and also at the same time, I code the age cohort on the same sentence. That's why we will have like metric coding and metric inquiry. And for example, you think that is a really significant pattern or relationship, you want to remember this query that you run, you can put it into add to project. In that case, the way how you run this metrics query will be recorded, but not the result. Because in the future, for example, you have read like 10 literature, you think, oh, this pattern is significant. Then you look for more literature in this field and you add up your literature into 20, 30. Then you come back to this recorded query. The data will be updated as long as you run it again. But the result will be definitely different because you add more literature. But in this case, when you click add to project, you record the way how you run this query. For example, what is on the row, what is in the column. You just record this pattern and record the way you run it rather than the result. So I would recommend this way to record the action you did on the data rather than the result, because your literature, the amount of literature, you will add something in, you will delete something that is not useful. So recording this query will be very important. For this case, I will record it at like metrics because we're running metrics query. We are running the inquiry about discrimination and age cohort. So we just save it. And then if we run, it will show up on the left in the queries column. So that will be your record of inquiries, but not the result. And then we click run the query. Okay, yeah, that's the result. We could see that in the document, in the literature, if we code the literature discrimination in workplace, and at the same time, we also code that sentence because that sentence is referring the women group in age 36 to 45. We have 11 cases like that. for other age cohort, we also have other different kind of situation. Like for the younger group, 7, we have 7 cases like this situation. But when it reached to the older generation, it seems the number is less, and it seems that the literature said less or mention less situation that women in the older generation get more discrimination in workplace. We don't know, but it just show a very brief pattern of what the literature has been investigating and what age cohort has been studied based on discrimination in workplace. So it doesn't show us the causal relationship, but it gives you a taste of, okay, the relationship and the potential pattern of the literature that you are analyzing. So that is a general way how we use metric queries. And I hope this is useful for you to look for potential pattern and relationship in your document analyze, in your literature analyze, and also it could be applied in the interview and focus group transcript. Thank you for watching.